If you've been using a chisel for a while, you've probably noticed the same story playing out. At first, everything feels sharp, clean, and effortless. But give it some time and things start to change. The edge isn't as crisp, the cuts take more force, and the finish just doesn't look as neat as it used to. It's one of those quiet problems most people run into, but not everyone knows exactly why it happens or how to fix it. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at what's really going on and how to bring your chisel back to its best. Here I've got a caster wheel from a hand truck. It's a key part of the cart itself. But in this video, I'm going to repurpose it into a simple tool that helps set the correct sharpening angle for a chisel. Next, I've prepared 2 square wooden blocks, already measured and cut to the right size. They'll act as a clamp to hold the chisel in place, giving us a fixed, consistent angle for sharpening. Starting with the first small square wooden block, I'll secure it directly onto the caster wheel using a few screws, keeping everything tight and stable right from the beginning. Once I've made sure the caster wheel is firmly secured to the square wooden block, I'll drill 2 holes at the marked positions. Next, I'll drill 2 more holes on the surface of the second wooden block, making sure they line up perfectly with the holes on the first one. This way, everything will match up cleanly and be ready for the next step of the assembly. Here in my hand, I've got 2 bolts and 4 nuts. I'm going to use them to build an adjustable clamping system so I can fine-tune the grip depending on the size of the chisel. With this setup, the chisel stays firmly locked in place, doesn't twist or slide, and most importantly, it keeps a stable angle throughout the sharpening process, which makes the results much more consistent. Alright, now I'm going to mount this dull chisel into the jig and get it ready for sharpening so we can bring that edge back to life. Before we jump into the actual sharpening, take a moment to practice the motion first, just to get a feel for it and keep everything smooth and controlled. Don't forget to spray a bit of water onto the sharpening stone before you start. It helps keep the surface smooth and gives you a much cleaner sharpening result. Alright, the sharpening is done and I can already see a clear difference in the edge of the chisel. Now I'll take it out of the jig, give it a quick clean, and then we'll put it straight to a real-world test to see how it performs. After sharpening, the difference is immediately noticeable. The chisel bites into the material much more easily, the cuts feel smoother, and you don't have to force it like before. The edge tracks cleanly, giving you better control and a more precise finish. It's one of those small improvements that completely changes the way the tool feels in your hand, making the whole job quicker, cleaner, and a lot more satisfying. And that's it, a simple setup, a bit of careful work, and your chisel is back in shape. Sometimes all it takes is a small adjustment to make a big difference in the way you work.